People of the internet, today we begin the Jelly Roll Files. We will be investigating Jelly Roll in a multiple part series. But today we are going to start with how Gen Z feels about Jelly Roll. And we have a Gen Z content creator right here to tell us about their feelings towards him. And they're making a claim that he's an absolute fraud. And we're going to hear all about it right now.
Talk about Jelly Roll. This is a person, not a dessert. American rapper and singer. That's definitely one way of putting it. I would like to get into why I find this specific brand of Southern good old boy, I'm just a hillbilly hick, I don't know nothing about nothing, to be fairly problematic, because besides being a complete sham, it actually relies on so much convenient ignoring of facts, so much like cognitive dissonance and inconsistency. I thought it would be interesting to talk about. Also, his wife runs a podcast, and it's one of the most embarrassing. No, okay, I don't want to spoil, but we're going to talk about that a little bit too. So here's the man. I see a lot of people criticizing Jelly Roll for things that don't matter. Oh gosh, he has weird tattoos. You know, he looks like this, that, the other. I could not imagine anything mattering less than someone having face tattoos. Someone said, I think of Teddy Swims. Dude, so many people get Teddy Swims confused with Jelly Roll. Someone said Nightmare Blunt rotation. If I had to do a ranking, I would say Teddy Swims is largely fine. He seems okay. I would say Post Malone, highly suspicious. And then Jelly Roll himself on the right here, it's a no for me. It's a no for me, dogs. Whoever put this...
I mean, Jelly Roll looks like a con man. He has the con man smile. He has the con man eyes that tell you everything's going to be all right, but he's going to fuck you. I just don't know why anybody falls for Jelly Roll. I'm trying to not laugh through this because just the thought of talking about Jelly Roll, pretty funny.
This image together, y'all rank them in order from least to most offensive. So this one is Jelly Roll. He started off making what I would describe as like sad boy rap. We're talking 15 years ago. He just be riding all alone. He just be riding all alone. What's going to become really clear to you if you're like a Jelly Roll stan coming into this video, you might start thinking to yourself, it seems like you already had a bias against this guy, and then you just looked for any and everything that confirmed your vibes about this person. Yes, I want you to know right now that that was my methodology for this video. Let me show you the very first Jelly Roll video.
You got to hand it to Gen Z. They just don't care anymore. You know, my generation, we towed the line. We thought college degrees, you know, a nice little life in suburbia. These guys just don't care. And I appreciate that spirit. I appreciate that spirit because there are a lot of the spirit behind fighting back against what's going on in our country right now. You know, every generation thinks the one above them sucks and the one below them is stupid. But there are good things.
I ever saw. About 2.5 years ago, I was bored on YouTube, like you are right now, don't lie, and I went to the music section. And I saw this video called Wild Ones by Jesse Murph featuring Jelly Roll. I was like, I've heard of this dude Jelly Roll, but I've never listened to his music. So I clicked. White people rapping. It's come up before. We've talked about Iggy Azalea. It's not always a bad thing. In fact, I don't think anybody rapping inherently is a negative thing. I'm just letting you know right now. I watched this 2.5 minute music video and I was like, I know exactly what kind of dude this is. But you know what? You can't only go off of vibes. We got to get into the lyrics. They're actually so good on this song. I'm attracted to things that are really crazy. Asking me how I've been feeling lately. Do or die, I won't let it slide. The part that I love. A whole lot of problems. Living in Gotham. And Bunny's
my Harley Quinn, was raised in the darkness. Forgive me, I'm God, and I have no shame. I'm in love with the heartless. Police would never take us alive. And cowgirls don't cry. There you go.
My Harley Quinn. I was raised in the darkness. Forgive me. You know, the police will never take us alive. Well, Jelly Roll, the police are statistically quite likely to take you alive, but it was a lot for me. And that's when I decided, let me go ahead and opt out of the Jelly Roll discourse. I don't really think I'm the target audience, and that's okay. Not everything in this world was made for me. Also, if you're wondering, like, Bunny is my Harley Quinn. That's the wife with the podcast. We're going to get into that. So when he popped back up on my radar, it was because people were upset at his recent statement at the Grammys when he was asked about ICE.
People shouldn't care to hear my opinion, man. You know, I'm a dumb redneck. I haven't watched enough. I didn't have a phone for 18 months. I've had one for 4 months and don't have social media.
All right. He
Here's the thing with that. Okay, we all grew up like we did, and a lot of us had it rough. But let me tell you something. You're a celebrity with millions of dollars, people waiting hand on foot just for you. You don't even have to try to make money. People are throwing money at you. You live in the real world now. That shit was like, what, 20-something years ago? There's no excuse how you don't know what's going on. And you're always hanging out with Trump. You're hanging out with Rogan. You're hanging out with all of them. You can't act stupid like that. You cannot act stupid like that, Jelly Roll. We see you sitting on Kill Tony, trying to make all the incels happy.
He really, really leans into this. I'm just a guy from God knows where.
I've become so disconnected from what's happening. I grew up in a house of like insane pandemonium. I didn't even know politics were real until I was in my mid-20s in jail. Like, that's how disconnected. When you grow up in a drug addict household, you think we like have common calls about what's happening in world politics?
I actually think all of these are valid things to consider. Initially, I would just like to say, Jelly Roll, if you became conscious of politics in your mid-20s and we sort of look at your current age, I don't think it's a stretch to say, actually, it's quite sad to continue to be willfully ignorant. But what you're going to be seeing is like, no one is actually as ignorant as they claim to be.
I have a lot to say about it, and I'm going to in the next week, and everybody's going to hear exactly what I have to say about it in the most loud and clear way I've ever spoken in my life. So I look forward to it.
So I don't believe that happened. Jelly Roll missed his deadline. He did not follow up his comments on ICE. What little hope I had, I was like, okay, maybe he just does have opinions and thoughts and he just wants to get them out in a more cohesive way.
He would have been like, my opinion is chicken wings, butter beans, my truck.
Even though it's not that difficult to say ICE should be abolished. But I was like, maybe he is cooking up a response. No, he was just dipping like a coward. It's okay. You don't have to say things. I am never really coming at this from the angle of like, oh, I want to control people. Everyone must be a political activist. It's just things like this are really dodgy, really privileged and strange. Let's go ahead and get into this idea that he doesn't know anything about politics. Listen, when you are out here kikiing it with Donald J. Trump, it gets increasingly difficult for me to believe. This is not a position that you wind up in very easily. You actually have to do a series of very specific things to even be shaking Donald J. Trump's hand. Let's go ahead and get into some of these things. On his podcast with his wife, when everybody was obviously kind of put off by this picture because it's gross, he talked about, again, the same story.
I don't know enough about politics to act like I know anything that's going on, what anybody's standing for policy-wise. I genuinely don't know.
I think the government's a sham, and I have been a conspiracy theorist my entire life. I voted one time when I was 18.
Okay, sorry, reeling it back in. This is such a common line of thinking. Policy doesn't matter. Yes, our policy happens to be me kikiing it with Donald Trump, but like, that's just because it was a vibe. I don't have MAGA beliefs.
I didn't grow up in a voting culture. My father didn't push voting on me. My mother didn't push voting on me. Like they did push respect our president on me, though. My father was real big about, you don't disrespect, you know what I mean? Like, you just.
But I thought, Jelly Roll, that you didn't know what politics was. I mean, surely if you knew about the presidency and respecting the presidency, you knew that there were some politics involved. This guy's a con man, you know, and many of you are going to come in and be like, you've only watched like 5-6 minutes of this video and you've already decided your opinion on Jelly Roll. And you would be absolutely correct about that. Because he looks like a con man, he acts like a con man. He sings the most bullshit ass country songs imaginable. He just sits out there like he's country's Jesus, and he came from the bottom, and he rose from the pits of hell, and he's motherfucking Jelly Roll. So yes, I think he's a scum dick bag.
You know, like, that's the hardest job in the world.
Did your father teach you not to respect rapists, though? Because I was in the South. I also got this big shtick about like, oh yes, you have to support the office. But there's also a very strong pushback against people who are exactly like Donald J. Trump. Big wigs from New York who are horrible people and get away with the most insane things and will continue to do so. That wasn't part of your Southern upbringing. It probably was, but I believe you were ignoring all of this.
I grew up in a family that fought over politics. I had a Republican mom and a Democrat father who I watched how it would tear people apart at a young age before any of this was on the fucking internet. There was nothing about that I wanted to even be involved in. I actually have political trauma.
Yeah.
I have just coined that term. Everybody start using that term.
I think I have a little bit of political trauma too. I think some people tend to have this because, you know, elements of your identity get politicized without your permission. And so then your actual basic human rights are political issues, which I find to be quite traumatic. But if your source of political trauma was just that your parents were arguing a little bit because one of them was a Democrat, the other was a Republican, I guess that works too. I would never want to invalidate somebody's trauma.
I look back.
Yo, you know, all through your life, right? People will make fun of older people going, what is this? What are they talking about? Like something that's pretty common. The whole like culture and personality of Gen Z, I don't understand it at all. I like that they call things out. I was thinking about it. You know, now that I know what I know, and life's just one great ride, I would have been more vocal. I would have been crazier. I would have... in my 20s if I could have. I was always very aware of protecting myself and my financial status and my job and like graduating through college. You know, I would, you know, celebrate and hang out, but I was always studying. I was always I was always trying to do the right thing. But watching these guys, it's kind of inspiring. They just put their feelings out there like, yeah, no, that right there. Yeah, but no. Okay, like, no. Look, I'm trying to look at everything, right? Objectively. And I like it that they're so vocal about their opinions. We should, you know, here's the thing with millennials. We put up with too much bullshit, right? Especially with having to pay for college and all that. We just towed the line till we got older, right? And they weren't going to give us houses. That was the one right there. Oh, houses? No. We're going to just jack those things up. That's when we got mad. I'm just saying.
My relationship with politics, like we didn't watch election night. I don't have one memory of us like as a family really giving a shit who was getting elected.
Yeah.
So I just always carried that.
All right. I think we get the point. There are so many reasons that this doesn't make sense. Here's one of them. I would argue that if you're actually testifying before Congress, then you're not quite as disconnected from the reality of politics as you would assume. He's over here pushing for the passage of a fentanyl eradication and narcotics deterrence act. Like, Jelly Roll, this is political activism. It's the selectiveness of it. DJT has these insane stances on immigrants, trans issues, anything that exists. These are the things that you don't know about. But when it comes to political issues that you actually feel affect you because you have some sort of tie to them, all of a sudden you're real loud. I feel like the reason he probably didn't want to say too much about ICE might be because he was kicking it with Kristi Noem. You know, wife, mother, grandma, farmer, rancher, small business owner, and Secretary of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. In other words, one of the people directly responsible for ICE's insanity. And when I say directly responsible, I'm talking about actually pushing for making this worse for everybody. Secretary Kristi Noem announces expanded leadership to revamp ICE. Kristi's on Twitter a couple years ago saying, "You make incredible music. Your heart is even more incredible. I'm proud to call this man my friend." Maybe that's why when you're asked about ICE,
by incredible music, you would consider Jelly Roll like modern pop country, right? And you might know this, but I hate modern pop country. All these people, all they do is like, I just want to be a real man to you. I just want my girl and my dog and a fresh six-pack in my lap with a fishing tank. I don't know why fishing. They go fishing. And they all sing the same one. I was listening to this other creator or YouTube video, and this guy was like, yo, you go live your dreams, and right? He's like, oh, I released a country album. And just out of nowhere, this guy is like a weightlifter, right? He's like, I released, go, and like every episode, he's like, oh, please listen to this, please listen to it. And one of the songs is, I just want to be your man. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Is there nothing else to say in this motherfucking world? You know? Right? You have nothing to say. You want to say what 10,000 other modern pop country, not to mention every other fucking artist in every genre has said. I just don't know why country music has nothing else to talk about. Not country, modern pop country. You know, I remember, and right, it's the same thing. Who was that guy? I think my tractor's sexy. It really turns her on. Does a tractor really turn her on? Shut the fuck up.
On the stage, you freeze. I'm just an idiot. I don't know anything about that. Sometimes I testify in Congress when I actually do selectively know things that I feel like would help me and the people around me. But what's going on here? So few people in this position who claim to not know anything about politics. It is almost never true. They just don't want the smoke. So they are actively choosing what to sound knowledgeable about and what not to. And I find it to be fascinating. Also, if you're just like, okay, you know what? Shaking hands with Donald Trump and kicking it with the head of the Department of Homeland Security and all these things is not really proving anything. But chat, if you're in a prayer circle with Tucker Carlson, like, where do we go from here? Am I actually supposed to sit here and take you at your word that you're not?
Got him. This guy is bringing the heaters, right? He's bringing the facts. I appreciate. Oh man, Gen Z's wild. I haven't had much experience with Gen Z. I just, I don't know why. Because I live in the woods. That's why. And I just don't see people that I don't know very often. Point being, they've got some spunk. I appreciate them. And I appreciate them being like, nope, there you is with Tucker praying to your God. There you is with Christy Nome. She's talking about your shit, right? And we're going to get to the video at some point. So I might as well just let you know it's coming. There's a video. I've watched a bit of it. But they're saying Jelly Roll is country music's Epstein. Originally intrigued me about this whole shenanigan with Jelly Roll. And so we will be looking at that man. I think I look at Jelly Roll and you could see right through him. You can see right through him. And I think he's going to turn out to be exactly what everybody says he is.
Manga, you're not a conservative. Definitely not. You were just so deeply ingrained into conservative culture right now. If you're not familiar with right-wing conservative commentator Tucker Carlson, good for you. I'm just telling you right now, this is not the kind of person you randomly wind up at a Christmas party with, brother.
Guys, Trump is mad at me. Can you believe that? Trump is mad at Tucker?
Maga. Why not just say it? I think the thing is, like, whatever it is that he's so scared of, it's not going to happen. There's been so few repercussions for anybody who associates themselves with these people. I almost don't even understand what it is he's trying to hold on to.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you so disappointed, but you got to hear it. You got to hear it because I didn't really think about this until I heard about it. I think this week or last week. Trump's going to pardon everybody. It doesn't matter what we do. He's going to pardon everybody. And they're going to walk away scot-free. Let that sink in. Think about it, too. He can do that. Including himself. Whoa. That'll grind your guts for a little while. You will feel that. You'll feel that sharp ting in your stomach. That anger start to build up in your chest. Just the thought of that. I didn't even realize that till a couple days ago. And I was like, fuck. There is no justice. It just is what it is, guys. Sorry.
But yeah, that's the politics side of it. And what you get a lot of times when it comes to trying to call things out like this and say, oh no, actually associating with people like this is weird. Giving these super privileged takes and not condemning things that are obviously wrong is strange. You're going to get a lot of his defenders showing up and saying, oh, you know what? Leave Jelly Roll alone. Jelly Roll might be an idiot, but that's our idiot. He was in and out of prison, robbery, drug possession, etc. Of course, he did get that pardon at the end of last year, which good for him. But like, he leans super hard into this. I've changed. Actually, it's all love. Jesus fixed me. Jesus saved me.
This is so hard to talk about because I've been called a lukewarm, a fence rider. I've been called a cussing Christian. Well, I might say things that other Christians don't think are right to say, but ultimately I have a heart for God and I have a heart for Jesus.
I have no sympathy for Christian persecution complexes. None. When I was 4 years old, my mama said in no uncertain terms, all right, son, you're conscious. You got to do the thing. And so I accepted Jesus into my heart, devoted my life to our Lord and Savior. I told other people that I did this. My mama was just trying to save me from hell because she genuinely believed that that's how these things work. Since then, we've actually both deconstructed. Jokes on Jesus.
You could have called anybody else in this town a little less controversy. Thank you, brother, for picking me, man.
You're not a fake Christian for cursing. Some of y'all are going to hate this. I don't think you're a fake Christian for having extramarital sex. The Bible's hella outdated, honestly. I don't think that you're a fake Christian if you're gay, for example. I actually do genuinely believe that everybody's sort of personal faith or interpretation is up to them. But I'm telling you,
that's where I've come along. And you know it, man. You know my feelings towards Christianity. I've said them a few times. But I'm just going to let people believe it's generally not worth it. We got other problems right now. I know people. I mean, I could say a whole bunch of stuff. But look. Growth. You're witnessing growth. You know? Just like Jelly Roll. He's a changed man. Because, you know, when he was deep in his cell, when he was laying on that plastic mattress with a cot and there was a guy above him on a bunk bed, he found himself. He changed. He came into the light. And he was told to go play country music and change the world. Jelly Roll, folks. He's changing the world.
Right now, you a fake Christian if you MAGA. You're a fraud. You're a fraud. It's not the gays, and it's not the people who are not married to each other but still in relationships. It's not the people having children out of wedlock who are fake and bad Christians. It's not the people cursing or sinning. It is conservatives. They are the only fake Christians I've actually ever seen in my entire life. And the funny thing is that's kind of Jesus's whole message. That's the funny thing. If you really read the Bible. And then you realize, like, who was Jesus criticizing? It was people like this who are very loudly like, oh, I'm so religious and elevated, but also I'm hateful to other people who are marginalized in society. So Jesus called y'all fake Christians, not me. I'm actually just spreading the word of God. Oh, and by the way, that music that they were playing in the background, I think it was this song. If you're thinking to yourself, okay, D'Angelo, well, I wasn't really rocking with like the rap music and then the weird country rap stuff. It wasn't really for me. What about his new Christian music? Surely that would sound a little bit better.
Bro, anybody that wears a jacket like that is a hustler. It don't matter where in the world you are. If someone has a jacket like that, don't trust me. Think of everybody that has a jacket like that. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm just saying.
That really, really motivated me to close this tab. He had nothing to say about ICE at the Grammys, because why would you piss off your friend, Christy? However, Jesus, when nobody even asked, he's super down to share his opinion about that. Also, you're gonna get the persecution nonsense in the beginning of this as well, where he's like, oh, they're not gonna.
Bro, every time I see Jelly Roll, look at his little hollow eyes. He got no eyebrows. Point, every time I see Jelly Roll, I think he's in the Insane Clown Posse. I don't know why, but that is my immediate, you know, my immediate thought every time I see him.
Let me be Christian on stage.
I know they're going to try to kick me off here, so just let me try to get this out. First of all, Jesus, I hear you and I'm listening, Lord. I am listening, Lord.
Jesus ain't listening to you. He would never have Jelly Roll in his playlist. I know that my Lord and Savior, the one I accepted when I was 4, had much better taste in music than this. But anyways.
There was days that I thought the darkest things. I was a horrible human. There was a moment in my life that all I had was a Bible this big and a radio the same size and a 6x8 foot cell. And I believed.
As I laid on that cot, the Lord spoke to me. And you know what he said? He said, Jelly Roll, you will not stay in this prison because you have to go change the world. And when you change the world will be free. One note at a time. One concert at a time. Every motherfucking time, Jelly Roll.
Those two things could change my life. I believe that music had the power to change my life, and God had the power to change my life.
Do you see the part where he's getting kicked off stage for spouting Christian rhetoric? Me neither.
And I want to tell y'all right now, Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is not owned by no music label. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him. I love you, Lord.
I think that was the most politically charged statement that I was able to find in just me looking at this video was Jesus doesn't belong to any one political party, which
we need Ricky Gervais in that moment. You know, it's not the Christianity. It's just, you know, believe what you want, right? It's just people that have to come out at award shows or these moments where they get the microphone and they gotta, and they gotta tell people everything and they gotta say, this is the way and this is what we do and la, 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 la. It just doesn't just always trying to convince somebody of something. Doesn't it get tired? Don't you get tired of it? Just always telling people how you got to live your life. This is the way. Nobody knows the way. Nobody knows the way, okay? So, like, oh, man. That speech just made me go, con man. He's a con man. I know it. I know it. I promise you, I could feel it in my bones.
Telling that to some of your friends, Jelly Roll. I think they need to hear this. Anyways, he's definitely all in on this idea of like Christianity's getting kinder. And I want to emphasize, if it really just was this guy spreading love and positivity, I wouldn't be sitting here saying, no, people should stop spreading love and positivity. That's a bad thing. This is what he says.
I love where contemporary Christianity is heading right now. I think it's back in love and empathy. I think Christians are like, and I am a Christian, but I think.
Can I tell you how much I cannot stand Cameron Haynes? Can I tell you that? This guy, he acts so tough. He's like 5'1". I think he's shorter than Joe Rogan. And he acts like, I'm the man. And then, you know, one time I heard his podcast, Joe Rogan, with him on it. And he was like, you know what? You know how I'm tough? Because I pick up a rock and I carry it to the top of a hill. Can you believe the things dumb men want us to believe? That makes you tough. I'm sorry, someone invented an invention for that. I get it. I get it. You are choosing to go through some kind of physical pain to carry that rock up. I don't think it makes you cool. I don't think it makes you tough. If anything, it just shows that you've worked on your physical endurance and you can carry a rock up a hill. Not some fucking accomplishment. People have been carrying rocks up hills for centuries. And they want to go, ooh, he's an alpha male. When he stands up to like maybe the bottom of my rib cage, ooh, lion mouse, that's an alpha male, not you. Where? Oh, you mean down here? You mean down there? That guy down there? He's an alpha. You mean the one down there? Y'all have been fooled and believe in stupid men that don't meet the qualifications of alpha male or the alpha males. They are, in fact, not one bit.
Like popular Christianity is like back in the world again, doing it the way, like it's not being preachy on corners and through megaphones.
Does the Grammy stage not count as being preachy through a megaphone?
It's like
yes.
through acts of service, through acts.
I like this guy. He just said he's not trying to sugar. That is what we need to do. We need to call out all of these clowns that are influencing our society, that are obviously influencing our politics, and we need to just take them. There's an empty island. I believe it's called Epstein. They would probably all enjoy it anyways, being with each other all alone, just a big old man party. That is what they want. So just give it to them. But give them one condition: you can never come back.
Of kindness, like Christians are back showing up for people. You know, the Christian community makes up 70% of the world's giving.
Let's get some of this old-fashioned love and positivity from our friend Jelly Roll over here. This was posted to his own social media a few years ago.
I'm so fucking mad right now. I just went to Fleet Feet, a place I bought dozens of pairs of shoes at, and I took my 71-year-old mother there. I watched the store manager walk up to a young man working the desk and go, hey, would you help that sweet old lady over there? Young man goes, and he points at a guy walking in the door.
younger man. I watched this young fucking sucking cocky prick just kind of shrug her off.
They gonna get so mad at me if I say that's homophobic. They finna get pissed if I call that homophobic. Because they're gonna be like, oh, D'Angelo, you're just going down a list of everything phobic. But I can't stress this enough. That's quite a homophobic start to this video.
Manager has to...
You have to understand, I don't know if he really truly understands the rogansphere, but you have to understand Jelly Roll is a part of the rogansphere, or at least a part that dips in and dips out quite frequently. And you have to understand, I forgot his name. Sorry. Okay. Point is, you have to understand that they are all in the closet and their response is to criticize gay people, trans people, because they themselves don't have the courage to be who they truly are. So they go on the closet. That's why I said the Man Island's a good idea. Just let them, they will all come out of the closet at the Man Island. It'll be a great awakening for them. And it'll be a great awakening for us because all these people will be out of our country and we can begin to rebuild, you know? So, just wanted to explain that. And people out there, if you didn't know, these guys are all in the closet and they're mad. They're mad. They don't have the courage to come out. They're not being themselves. So they rage out against the people they truly want to be.
The manager has to... I'm losing my voice. I'm so mad. I just screamed at everybody in the store. The manager so fucking just walks back, grabs another dude. The whole time I'm sitting there thinking, I want to fucking hit this young man with the open hand of the Lord.
There's that Christianity for you. If it wasn't for Jesus, I would actually assault you right now. It's funny because his wife says the exact same thing in a later clip that we have. And I'm just like, it really is a specific kind of person.
I walk my mother outside and I walk back in the store and I crawl in that fucking kid's ass. And then the manager has the audacity to fucking tell me, sir, could y'all talk about this outside? I don't want my customers hearing it. I said, bitch, you need to worry about the customers on the internet hearing this.
Well, we're hearing it, Jelly Roll. I guess I can leave it to the individual listener to decide whether or not he's coming across the way he seems to think he is in this video.
You don't need to worry about the 3 people in here buying a $180 pair of fucking hokers hearing it. And one, you wouldn't have to worry about customers knowing what the fuck's going on in this store if you taught some proper etiquette to your motherfucking employees. See, what y'all don't know is God is with me. I am blessed, I am thankful, and I am grateful, and I am full of gratitude.
It'd be the worst people on Facebook talking about #blessed. Somebody on Facebook posting one of those little images with the text and the emojis around it, like the laughing, crying emojis, talking about #blessed or some Bible verse. The worst human beings you ever met. War never changes.
I would march back into that store right now, and it would look like a scene out of a motherfucking movie.
Now, if God...
It's always Okay, it's always the people that want to tell you this is how you do things. I am justified by being this. This is the way, the truth, and life. It's always those people that are usually the worst people, right? And it was reminded to me the other day because I came across an article and it was like, I guess a new study that they already did a study and confirmed this, but they're looking at it again. They're saying people that post their relationship constantly on social media are in the worst relationships because they're showing everybody like, look how good we are. This is how you do it, blah, blah, blah. And then you find out that they're no longer posting about their relationship because they broke up, right? It's always the preachy people, the people that want to tell you all this stuff, right, about how to live right. There's no nuance, you know? I think if you're a person out there in the space, you can have your opinions, you can stand against stuff, but once you tell people this is the one and only way to believe, I think you lost your way. You're trying to promote some kind of agenda instead of like looking at things objectively and going, yeah, that's good for people, yeah, that's bad for people.
Changed his heart. It wasn't that long ago. If God truly completely changed him as a person and he's not somebody who would yell at an entire store because they didn't help his mom fast enough, then who am I to say? All I'm saying is this just seems quite counter to this idea of like, oh yes, I'm doing the Christian thing because it's like love and positivity for all of us. Moving on, I'm not even going to introduce this one. I'm just going to hard cut into exactly what I'm talking about.
You're beefing with Tom Far, nigga. I'm not beefing with Tom. That's what somebody told me.
It's that little character right here. This little 2 brackets with the underscores that YouTube did not auto-translate.
I mean, if you had doubts he was not part of the rogansphere, there it is. That's the infamous clip right there, where he praises Epstein.
It was the N-word. No hard R. You know, this is why when I tell you that I be side-eyeing the hell out of white rappers, it's a no for me, dog. You know what's really funny too? He has had no sort of like anything for that. He kind of makes me think of Morgan Wallen a little bit. I talked about this guy years and years and years ago getting caught screaming slurs on a Ring doorbell or whatever, then went on to have career heights that were far beyond anything he had before. It's giving Morgan Wallen. And also, whenever I think about Morgan Wallen, I just think about this Haley Williams clip right here.
I'm never not ready to scream at the top of my lungs about racial issues. I think because it's so intersectional that it overlaps with everything from climate change to like LGBTQIA plus issues.
Oh, she right though. People get mad when you start like trying to connect everything to racism. They be like, oh my God, you're like seeing the world through racism goggles. No, she's absolutely correct that you can see the world through racism goggles, and it starts explaining quite a few things. She's correct about that one thing. And also almost anything she's ever said.
This racist country singer's bar.
You want to name names?
So who was she talking about? A racist country singer?
I'm always talking about Morgan Wallen. I don't give a Find me at Whole Foods. I don't care.
Dude, this is the...
You know, that conservative cowboy, you know, country music singer, just the whole thing in America, it's all, there's parts of the country with that whole conservative cowboy. There are things I appreciate about, you know, they run ranches. It's hard work. It's low level. It's not the glorified cowboys. Cowboys just clean up horse shit and feed hay and ride horses sometimes. If you didn't know, that is what they do. And I can appreciate that, but the whole political identity, and it goes like this, oh, I'm a badass guy because I shoveled cow shit this morning and I rode a horse, so ooh, be scared of me. And that whole vibe, I cannot stand it. I cannot stand it. I just hate people that just pretend to be something they're not. I just can't stand it. And that one really gets under me because I spent some time in parts of the country like that for work. And I was always glad I left. It was just like breathing fresh air. They were just so uptight about everything. And I'm going to stop.
Level of like smoke that I wish to see more of. Nature would start to heal. Those celebrities would just call out other celebrities and be like, you know what? Actually fight me at Whole Foods. You're racist. It's kind of incredible, but that's a tangent. I was just using this as an opportunity to start talking about Haley Williams because I'm a fan. One thing I would like to say in general, when I look at this specific brand,
it's kind of crazy that Haley Williams, just in my eyes, is still popular. Because I remember Paramore came out, I think in my early 20s. And they're still singing the songs off the first album. It's just crazy. 9 Inch Nails is considered the best set at Coachella. Are we living the 9 Inch Nails came out when I was a kid, like a little kid. And that's what we listened to in high school. I remember getting the albums when they came out. The Fragile, the Goated record, right? I remember when that came out and bumping it in my little truck. And now all these kids, they want our fashion. They want our music. I'm not mad about it. I mean, let's go back. Let's go back to the 90s. So down for it. But I just find it so wild. I've been seeing a lot of Haley Williams on like social media, and she's in videos, and I'm like, dude, that CD came out when I started adulthood, and it's still like, you're still singing it? I mean, I guess, you know, like classics and stuff, but like this generation is embracing everything when I was like in high school and college. It's so crazy. I can't even believe this is what. Because I think my generation was like obsessed with like the 60s, 70s, and 80s and all the classic rock. We would wear the Led Zeppelin t-shirts and Pink Floyd and, you know. Now we're experiencing it. You know what's next? Death. We're already arriving at that point, and we only just begun. That's why they say life is short, folks.
Brand of rap-infused country or country-infused rap that Jelly Roll is currently doing, which is being embraced so deeply by country music artists and Christians and all these people in the community, if you will. And then I start thinking about things like Shabuzi getting his name made fun of at the Country Music Awards, or Lil Nas X, you know, getting Old Town Road removed from a country chart, which they claimed had nothing at all to do with race, or Beyonce seemingly getting snubbed by the Country Music Awards, is what some people believe. I would have to agree. War and Treaty, a country music duo, these two people saying that somebody put a cotton plant in their festival dressing room. According to this Rolling Stone article, they were the only two black people on the lineup, and somebody actually went into their dressing room and put a little cotton plant there. It's just hard not.
I understand coming up, throughout the years, like politics, may not want to have been involved, and I don't even think it's politics. But the things that are happening, especially when it comes to race issues and to minorities, it's insane if you don't take a stand for it. I don't even think it's Republican or Democrat. I think they're coming for everybody, and they're going to pick out people. They're going to pick on issues that divide the nation. They're going to throw some more gasoline on that fire. Dude, you need to stand up. Stuff like that, putting a how is this happening? We have so much technology. We claim to be so smart, but we can't stop being racist. We can't stop dividing each other. We can't stop letting the billionaires in the Epstein class have their way in the world and pit us against each other. I just don't know, folks. It's insane, the things that are happening right now. And I think, not everybody can do a good, massive world change, but you can make some change, and you should be so inclined to do that. Because if we don't all come together and collectively make our little changes in our worlds, I think our worlds won't be our worlds anymore. And they're going to get us all. They're going to get us all. And we're going to have no control over our lives. I just think they're trying. I don't know. I think they're trying to take away as many rights from people as possible. Stand up. Don't let people get away with this stuff. This is gross. It's gross that people are still being racist. In 2026, it's absolutely gross. It's horrible. It's horrific. People are allowed to be from different cultures. People are allowed to be from different races. This is how people are all across the world. Stop being stupid. You will find things in common. You may hate certain people, particular people, but to hate a whole culture, a whole race, just because they're a different color, absolutely dumb. Absolutely dumb.
Not to consider these things when I start thinking about, of course there's video of Jelly Roll saying the N-word, and it doesn't really matter at all because the double standard of actual seething hatred for black people in the country music community. And then, you know what really sucks too? There's so many good country artists. It's an important genre, and it has good music in it. When I say that I absolutely despise country music, let me tell you what I'm talking about right now. This. I don't like Nashville's record label version of country music. I find it to be so cringe, commercialized.
I couldn't survive in Nashville. I just hate all of it. I hate it all. I'm sorry. It's that conservative, country whole fucking vibe. I can't. Nashville, I would go insane. You would see me in the streets. I'd be hiding in a cardboard box. I would have lost everything because I would have gone nuts. I just can't. I can't deal with it. I can't. That whole it seems like such a tainted philosophy, right? And if you really look at that music, what are they offering you in the music? I get it. There's talented. I think most of the best country music is outside of the mainstream, outside of all that stuff. That's the best country music. People that can play their guitar like Jimi Hendrix, just people that can wail, sing good. I just can't stand. I'm sorry, guys. That is just one part of the country. I'm just not a fan of that whole ideology. Not at all. I want to hear more things than I got a truck today. My daddy done passed away. I'm gonna drink a beer for him and hope he didn't sin, 'cause daddy's gone to heaven in a Ford truck with his dog.
It typically,
And I'm just trying to be a real man for you, my booby bear.
sounds really awful as well. Like, the genre itself is beautiful. Dolly and Shania Twain, I'm a fan of much of their music for sure, for sure. Anyways, moving on.
Sierra Farrell. Go look up Sierra Farrell. She has a voice. Whoa! And she can jam on some instruments. Real good, like.
On from this, what I sort of foresee in Jelly Roll's future, I believe that Jelly Roll is Kid Rock Jr. According to Wikipedia, rap rock before transitioning to country rock. How old is Kid Rock? Oh, he's almost there. It's a decade before we see Jelly Roll at Turning Point USA. I know this is a mean point and I don't really care, but I'll just use any and every opportunity to say that Kid Rock is so weird. Here he is with RFK Jr., who's leading this Maha thing. We talked about Maha the other day. Make America Healthy Again. The fact that somebody would actually post this unironically.
You know, I saw a video of Kid Rock on something the other day, and he was like staring in the country or in the camera, and he was like, "If you got a problem with this, then you come and fight me, 'cause you got a problem with me." And I was thinking, well, if I had to fight for anything and I had to take a stand, like Kid Rock would be my best option, because what is that guy gonna do? Take his security? If you just put him hand-to-hand combat in a ring, he couldn't use his security, he couldn't use his money, he couldn't use his gun, and you put me hand-to-hand combat in a ring with Jelly Roll, or not Jelly Roll too, fuck that. He ain't got no cardio. But Kid Rock, I would tie that guy up into a pretzel real fast. I mean, that's the best you want. So you're saying I can get what I want if I go through you? Deal. Let's go. That's how I felt about it. And anyways, I was just like, I'm on this whole like this fucking fake tough guy conservative thing right now. Like, I'm ready for war. You see that picture of the guy with an axe? He was like 400 pounds. He's like, I'm ready to go to war for Iran for President Trump. It's like, brother, do you know there's standards in the military? You wouldn't even get into the military because you don't take care of your body. You're so overweight, you could not get into the military. You're not ready for war. You want to know the truth about war? You going over the Middle East, 120 plus degrees sometimes out there. You want to know, with that much body weight, you would last 0.2 seconds because you would be breathing, you'd be sweating, you'd be laying on the ground, and then you would become a medical casualty. And guess what? We would have to drag you out. So you're not ready to go fight Iran. Tough guy. Sorry, it just really burns me up. If you're so tough, go fucking go. Go serve. It's right there. Nobody's holding you back. But you're not. Excuse me. You just want to go up and you just want to be tough on social media. I would do anything. You ain't done shit for your country, and you ain't going to do shit for your country. If you would have, you would have.
I'm finna mute this. Not only because I don't want the copyright claim, I just don't want to hate myself by allowing this to enter my eardrums. When I tell you that we do truly live in clown world, like it's actually so over. But maybe I'm wrong. Jesus could be continuing to work through Jelly Roll. Maybe he'll save him from his own music. For all of Jelly Roll's defenders, there's definitely nobody who defends him harder than his wife. I think that's I don't know if I think it's a beautiful thing, but it's a thing for sure. So she's a podcast host because, of course, Jelly Roll's wife has a podcast. She was statistically more likely to have one than not. The Dumb Blonde podcast. Yes, she very much leans into the same image he has of, oh, I don't really know anything. I'm just yee, hicking it up. She talks about a lot of things, frequently involving him. I'm not going to super get into everything there. Just know that she herself, this video could have just as easily been about her. We could talk about the litigiousness. Because look, I recently had my little run-in with legal threats. It's interesting that Bunny is also this kind of person. She apparently reached out to this dude talking about, are you kidding me? My lawyer will be taking your video down. He said she copyright struck the video. She was saying, I'm copyright striking this one too. You met your match today, Bubba. Hopefully she's gotten a little bit better at people having opinions about her and or her husband at this point. But when it comes to the defense, I feel like there's wholesome defense and then there's like, oh, you could not pay me to do that. Maybe if you get to the point where you're getting headlines like country music star's wife speaks out after he's accused of picking nose and eating it at UFC event, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to defend yourself on that one. You would never catch me on my podcast making excuses for this. So this was a video which I don't even feel like showing you because why would I do that? But yes, at the very same event actually where he was hamming it up with DJT, people saw him, I guess, picking his nose and eating it. But Bunny said, this is so funny. She admits that he was picking his nose and says, everybody says he ate it, but I saw him roll it in his hand first and kind of flick it and then just touch his mouth. I pray this type of love never finds me. That's all I can say. So maybe it should not come as a surprise that she had really strong opinions about the way people were reacting to his statements on ice, or rather his lack of statements. Wait, okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't done. Jelly Roll's wife, Bunny, says his penis got severely bigger after 275-pound weight loss. Never. Not ever. Never. I don't know what would have to happen to me to be in this position where I'm on Howard Stern telling everybody this specific information. If you're wondering why he said in that song, oh, she's my Harley Quinn, this is why. Someone says severely is crazy. The word severely it's so funny because like you're essentially saying two things at the same time, but that's okay. That's not important. I'm truly not here to talk about this. So,
man, okay, I'll say it. What's interesting about all these big talkers? They're such alpha males. They're leading the country's men. They are the generation of change and making a world where everybody can do whatever the fuck they want, right? But here's the thing. After all this blah, 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 and blustering and being boisterous and claiming all of these things, they all got a small penis. I'll let that settle in for you. In fact, there isn't much to settle. Sometimes karma does its job.
let me just go ahead and move on. And so what she had to say about people criticizing his walk with God.
Seeing all of these people online just tearing apart my husband's walk of faith, it's so horrific, and it is so sad, and it's borderline demonic. I've been seeing videos where people are saying that my husband is performative. He's a performative Christian.
Well, yes. This is so good.
Some bag.
Oh, whoa. To bleep the one word but not the other is crazy, bro.
Some bag, I forget who she was, made a video and she's like, do you guys want to know what kind of Christian Jelly Roll is? For those of you who don't know, it's a performative Christian. And it's like, first of all, if I wasn't trying to walk with God, I would find you and slap the shit out of you, lady, because your voice.
If I had a nickel for every time Jelly Roll or Bunny threatened to assault somebody, if God wasn't going to stop them, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
In what world is it okay to ever question somebody's walk with God?
This one right here.
My husband's not sitting there saying, you need to go to church. You need to donate to this freaking congregation. He's literally not even saying anything. He's not asking for anything. All he's saying is, hey, Jesus is for everybody.
Also, if you think I would ever do this for somebody who cheated on me and is public about it, you all kinds of lost. You completely lost the plot.
I wish our
Wait, did Jelly Roll cheat? Dude, he slid that in there real good. He was just like, that was a good transition. Jelly Roll. Okay. I know many of you are going to get lost in the part of why would Jelly Roll cheat? Because, like, is he does he have options? But the better question is, who would put themselves up to cheat with Jelly Roll. You got to think real low of yourself, like his wife, to jump in that tent.
Our story would have went in the way that it never had an affair, and I'm in no way glad it happened. But man, I'm proud of who we are today. I truly am. But I looked back at even that moment in my life, and it was like I was hanging around a bunch of people.
There's nothing like having a relationship where I cheated on my wife and we got through it. I'm proud knowing that she will never completely ever trust me again, knowing that she's always going to be looking at me some way, wondering if I'm going to do something, that every time I get a text message, it's going to bring back things, But I'm proud of who we are today. Okay.
That were cheating on their wives.
I was just hanging around all these other cheaters. It just happens sometimes. And you know what, Jelly Roll? You might have made my point for me stronger than I could ever hope to, because if you seem to understand or believe in your mind, oh, I'm hanging around cheaters and now I'm a cheater, which is a horrible excuse for cheating. What does it say about you that you're currently hanging around Christy? No. What does it say about you that you are currently hanging around Tucker Carlson, Donald J. Trump? This guy, he pisses me off. Whenever I tell people I'm from the South or whatever, they have a preconceived notion. And it's because of people like this. It's painful that we're still doing this I'm just a good old boy nonsense when it is not and has never been true. You're not trash because you have face tattoos and a criminal history. You're not. A lot of people say that about him. They're all incorrect. My point is, you're doing a fine job of being trash all by yourself. It's just my opinion. This was an opinion piece. You could easily say this was actually a hit piece because I was motivated by my feeling about Jelly Roll. But let me tell you something though. If people get so mad at me for going off of vibes, why are the vibes always correct? I actually genuinely need an answer for this. If I'm here right here 2.5 years ago and I'm getting this vibe, how come it's never wrong? That's the only thing I want someone to explain to me. I don't get this vibe about everybody. Anyways, that's all I have to say about Jelly Roll. Hopefully you never have to think about him again if you so choose. I know I definitely will try not to. But yeah, I actually recorded this video live right here on YouTube where I stream quite frequently. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Unless I don't. In which case I was probably just, I don't know, sleeping.
Go support him. Link is in the description. Okay? This is good. I haven't watched much Gen Z stuff or have much experience with it. You kind of just stay in your own world, and then the next generation comes up, and if you don't have kids, you just really aren't subjected to it. But I appreciate stuff like this, and how Gen Z is calling everybody out. They're actually doing what other generations couldn't, and resisting, refusing to go forward, and so I appreciate that. And it's good because it's helping make the change and make others make change, We can all have opinions about generations, but only one generation is truly evil, and that's the boomers. But outside of that, there's nuance, right? You just never trust a boomer. Never, ever, ever fucking trust a boomer. No matter what they say to you, just realize they fucked you before you were even born. They fucked you when you were growing up. They have been fucking you for years and years. They created all this mess. They put all those politicians. They are those politicians that created all this mess. So, all other generations, we need to unite because they fucked it up for all of us. So, other than that, this is part one. We've got more to go. We've got to dive in. But I saw this video and I want to see, well, what's the younger generation thinking of Jelly Roll? They're probably the ones being subjected to him the most, They're growing up and he's the guy playing on the radio or the mainstream influence. So they don't like him either. Who does like Jelly Roll? Okay. I don't want to make any more very opinionated comments because I've made a lot today. Let me know what you think in the comments of the J-Roll. Peace.
Know you like to bang, yo. Don't stay.